The reverse repo rate under the Liquidity Adjustment Facility, LAF, determined with a spread of 100 basis points below the repo rate, remains at 7%. Similarly, the Marginal Standing Facility, MSF rate, which is a spread of 100 basis points above the repo rate, also stands unchanged at 9%. Separately, we have decided to reduce the statutory liquidity ratio, SLR, of scheduled commercial banks from 24% to 23% of their NDTL with effect from the fortnight beginning August 11, 2012. Let me now explain the rationale behind this monetary policy stance. The first question is, what's the rationale for our decision to hold the policy interest rate under CRR unchanged? The rationale draws from our assessment of the growth inflation dynamics. As regards inflation, the headline WPI inflation has remained sticky, about 7%. This has been on account of an increase in food prices, increase in input costs, and upward revision in prices of some administered items such as coal. Headline inflation has persisted even as growth has moderated and the pricing power of corporates has weakened. Non-food manufactured products inflation has also not declined to the extent warranted by the growth moderation. This reflects severe supply constraints and entrenchment of inflation expectations. Now coming to growth. Growth last year was 6.5%, down from 8.4% in the year before. Although more recent data suggests some pickup, the overall economic activity remains subdued. In order to assess inflationary expectations, we need to see the current growth rate in comparison to the trend growth rate. The Reserve Bank's estimates suggest that the post-crisis trend rate of growth, which was earlier estimated to be 8%, has dropped to 7.5%. This means that the current rate of growth is lower than the trend. However, the output gap, which is the difference between the actual and trend rates of growth, will remain relatively small. Under these conditions, demand pressures on inflation can re-emerge quite quickly, exacerbating existing supply pressures. The second question on our policy stance is about the decision to reduce the SLR by 1 percentage point. Liquidity conditions play an important role in the transmission of monetary policy signals. Although the liquidity situation has eased significantly in the recent period, the reduction of SLR is expected to ensure that liquidity pressures do not constrain the flow of credit to the productive sectors of the economy. This will allow banks to shift their portfolio in favor of the private sector. Let me now spell out the three broad contours of our monetary policy stance. These are, first, to contain inflation and anchor inflation expectations. Second, to support a sustainable growth path over the medium term. And third, to continue to provide liquidity to facilitate credit availability to productive sectors. As per standard practice, we've also given guidance for the period forward. I will give the gist of that. The primary focus of monetary policy remains inflation control. Low and stable inflation is an essential precondition for securing sustainable growth over the medium term. While monetary actions over the past 2 years may have contributed to the growth slowdown, which is an unavoidable consequence, several other factors have also played a significant role. In the current circumstances, lowering policy rates will only aggravate inflationary impulses without necessarily stimulating growth. As the multiple constraints to growth are addressed, the Reserve Bank will stand ready to adjust its monetary policy stance. Meanwhile, managing liquidity within the comfort zone remains an objective. The Reserve Bank will respond to liquidity pressures, including by way of open market operations. In the current uncertain and turbulent global environment, the risk of external shocks is high. The Reserve Bank stands ready to respond to any such shocks swiftly using all available instruments. We expect that today's policy actions and the guidance that we have given will result in the following two outcomes. First, inflation expectations will be anchored based on the commitment of monetary policy to control inflation. Second, liquidity will be maintained to facilitate smooth flow of credit to the productive sectors of the economy and thereby support growth. Our policy decisions have been based on a careful assessment of the global and domestic macroeconomic situation. I will begin with our assessment of the global economy. Since the annual monetary policy statement in April 2012, global macroeconomic conditions have deteriorated and continues to cause concern. The two-speed recovery around the world that we were talking about a year ago has now dissipated. Economic activity in emerging and developing economies too has started slowing. But for most of them, inflation has also come down. India is clearly an outlier because even as our growth is slowing in line with the rest of the world, our inflation continues to be high. Moving on to the domestic macroeconomic situation, GDP growth last year was 6.5%, below the Reserve Bank's projection of 7%. In fact, growth decelerated over 4 successive quarters from 9.2% in the fourth quarter of 2010-11 to 5.3% in the fourth quarter of 2011-12. The growth slowdown was a result of deceleration in industry as well as services sector activity. Coming to the current year, in the April policy, we projected GDP growth of 7.3% on the assumption of a normal monsoon and improvement in industrial activity. Both these assumptions have not held. The monsoon has been deficient and uneven so far. Also, data on industrial production for April-May suggests that industrial activity remains weak. In addition, the risk from the global situation has intensified. Global growth and trade volume are now expected to be lower than projected earlier. Given the greater integration of the Indian economy with the global economy, this will have an adverse impact on growth, particularly in industry and service sectors. On the basis of the above considerations, the growth projection for the current year has been revised downwards from 7.3% to 6.5%. Let me now turn to inflation. Headline WPI inflation increased from 7.5% in April to 7.6% in May, before marginally moderating to 7.3% in June 2012. The stickiness in inflation, despite the significant growth slowdown, was largely on account of high primary food inflation, which was in double digits during the first quarter of this year, driven by a spike in vegetable prices and sustained high inflation in protein items. Fuel group inflation moderated from 12.1% in April 2012 to 11.5% in May, and further to 10.3% in June, on account of a decline in non-administered fuel prices. However, the reversal in crude oil prices in recent weeks may add to inflationary pressures. Non-food manufactured products inflation was at 4.8% in May and June 2012. However, input price pressures persist due to both exchange rate movements and supply side constraints.